A win in the fight for faith. After years of having to censor prayers at public meetings, a North Carolina county gets back their religious freedom. Joining us now from the Alliance Defending Freedom is the attorney who won the case, Brett Harvey. Good morning, and thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Anna. Thanks for having me.
So the way things had been was that Forsyth County, until Thursday, had to really censor the way they prayed. Anything that seemed too Christian wasn't allowed. You weren't allowed to say Jesus Christ during those prayers. Can you break down the case for us?
Sure. After a 7-year legal battle, the federal court in North Carolina affirmed what the Supreme Court had said earlier this spring, that the freedom to open public meetings with an uncensored prayer is protected by the Constitution.
Right, so this decision that came down in May from the Supreme Court of the United States, this was the Grease versus Galloway. Was the decision. Our tradition assumes the adult citizens, firm in their own beliefs, can tolerate and perhaps appreciate a ceremonial prayer delivered by a person of a different faith. So basically, just respect the different religions, correct?
Absolutely. The way we affirm diversity is not by censoring speech, but by opening up the opportunity to everyone. And in Forsyth County, that's exactly what the county did. They opened it up to any religious group within the assembly, within the county, invited them to deliver an invocation of their own choosing. And that's the way it should be. That's the freedom protected by the Constitution.
Well, in Forsyth County, Judge James Beatty Jr. said this: Forsyth County commissioners must make sure their prayer policy is inclusive and does not discriminate against minority religions and non-believers. Do you have a problem with that, or you think that's fair?
I think that's fair, and that's exactly what the county does. This is a freedom that protects everyone and all Americans. The county opens it up to any group within the county that wants to gets an invitation and is allowed to volunteer for themselves and pray consistent with the dictates of their own conscience. There is no discrimination going on, and the judge affirmed that when he lifted the injunction against the county.
Do you feel like there's ever a reason that prayer should be censored? Does the ACLU have a point at all?
Well, as the Supreme Court said this past spring, there's a limit on what people can say in prayer, but that in these prayers that open these public meetings. But that's based on the setting. Is it appropriate? Is it an appropriate tone? The court said you shouldn't denigrate other faiths, you shouldn't threaten damnation, preach conversion. But that's not what's happening here in Forsyth County. What you can't do is censor prayers based on the theology of the prayer giver. That's not what the Constitution permits. And
after this decision was made on Thursday, how do you expect the tone of these meetings to be going forward, Brett?
I expect them to continue as they have traditionally. Congress has been doing this for hundreds of years. They started even before the First Amendment was authored. This is something that happens in every country around the country, and it's an appropriate tone. The Constitution protects this freedom, and I'm sure that will happen in Forsyth County as well.
All right, Brett Harvey, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.